Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to 180 Block Pass. We're going to go over the 450 class for round 3 Anaheim 2. If you're interested in seeing the breakdown of the 250 class, you can find the link in the description below. We're going to do 2 separate videos so we can keep all these races together because there was just so much that went on. I've had to organize everything. It's been a lot. So let's go ahead and get started with Heat 1 out of the gate. Tomac with the whole shot. Everyone was super stoked about that. We had Webb right behind him, but he did end up about 2 seconds behind Tomac. Oldenburg, Hunter Lawrence recovering from the flu. Noren, who is 32 years old from Sweden, come to find out. Did not know that. That was kind of cool. I have seen his name a few years, but it's usually at the bottom, but he was there at the top during the heat race, so that was very fun to see. Robin, McElrath, we had Justin Cooper there in 9th out of the gate and Aaron Plessinger in 10th with Malcolm Stewart in 13th. Had to do some work to move up positions to not get into LCQ. Unfortunately, Justin Cooper did end up going into the LCQ, but as we'll see later, that might have benefited him with the downfall of rain that we had. For Aaron Plessinger, it did not last long being down. He got up and moved into the ranks in 7th position at the 3-minute marker. So it only been 2 minutes of riding and he was up there back in for the main. We had Hunter Lawrence out there in 3rd. He about lost it there on a jump. Looked like he overjumped it a little bit. So he got lucky on that one. He did mention at some point during an after race interview that he was struggling through the whoops. I know they didn't get a lot of ride time last week. They went back to Florida and for whatever reason, it snowed in Florida. It did not snow here in North Carolina. The poor kids are tired of being disappointed. But that's another subject, another topic for another day. So now we have 1:30 left on the clock, and now Webb is 4 seconds behind Tomac. So Tomac is just cruising at this point. And we had our boy Malcolm Stewart put in some work, get out of that 13th position and jump up to 8th. Aaron Plessinger also putting in work, him and Malcolm by the end of it, getting in the top 5 positions. So the results for Heat 1 goes as followed. Tomac, Webb, Hunter Lawrence, Aaron Plessinger, Malcolm Stewart. Oldenburg ends up dropping down to 6th, but still in for the main. 7th, we have Jerry Robin. 8th, we have Shane McElrath. And taking that last spot, we had Freddie Noren. Justin Cooper was 1 position down. I know he was frustrated after that, having to go to the LCQ. I do think, as Ricky Carmichael also stated, because of the rain and him being in the LCQ, it ended up being a blessing in disguise because he was able to see how the track broke down, especially with the rain, know where it was slick. And as a lot of the riders mentioned, the whoops stayed slick the entire race. So that brings us to the second heat race for the 450s. Jason Anderson coming out strong with the whole shot. Jett right behind him. We have Roczen in 3rd and Chase in 4th. Roczen does try to make a move on Jett, can't get it done. And for the rest of the race, I really couldn't tell you what happened because we only had footage of Jason and Jett battling for first position, even though it was only a heat race. And there was a lot to cover in the main, so that's fine, but I don't know what else to tell you. So we'll just go ahead and skip to the results because that's all we know. Hence the reason I'm with Gypsy Tales. We need to have helmet cams so we can put some extra footage so we can see what was going on. So there's that. So the final results are as follows. We had Jason Anderson holding on to the first position. I'll say after the race, we had that post interview with Jason Anderson. And from my perspective, he looked tired and winded and he was just sweating like crazy. He is still recovering from the flu, and we know that the flu doesn't just go away in like 4 days. It's just not how it happens. It usually takes 2 weeks to fully recover. So he was hanging on, and it was very impressive to see how tired he was after the heat race to come out swinging in the main. And we'll get to that in a second. So let's go ahead and finish these results. We had Jett there in 2nd. We had Chase Sexton there in 3rd and Roczen in 4th, which means there was a pass somewhere along the way that we didn't get to see. We had Dylan Ferrandis there in 5th, Justin Barcia in 6th. So that means he had a good ride as well. And in 7th, we had Justin Hill. He is in the best shape of his life, according to his interview on Gypsy Tales. So excited to see him up there in the top. Joey Savacci holding his ground in 8th place. And in the last position, we had Caden Clausen? I don't know. I don't read well. So he was on the Kawasaki. He had that last position. And then Justin Cooper in 10th, sending him to the LCQ and a little frustrated. But he did well in that. So let's go ahead and go straight to the LCQ. So out of the gate, Justin Cooper had the whole shot, pretty much led that whole LCQ race. We had Moran's putting up a good battle there in the LCQ, and we had Colt Nichols ended up in second, so it was good to see him in the main. I'm ready to see him start firing away. I just know that dude can rip. So it's just a matter of time before we start seeing him there at the top. We had Bloss end up in second position overall. He ended up passing Colt Nichols there on the big jump, which put Colt Nichols in third. And Moran's put up good battles, and he ended up in that fourth position, leaving Michael Harris just a hair too short, not making it to the main. Ended up there in fifth. That leads us to the 450 main with Justin Cooper right out of the gate, comes swinging, gets the whole shot. He had a horrible gate pick. I don't think he was expecting that. In the post interview, he talked about how he was very frustrated that he ended up going into the LCQ in the first place. But as Ricky stated, he did get to see how the track broke down. He got a little feel for the rain that had happened, and I think that ended up being a blessing in disguise. So he rode really well, and he was leading for a while during the race. He mentioned that he realized that he was riding first in a 450 main, and it made him kind of tensed up. So hopefully he's got that under his belt for experiences, and the next race that he leads, which I know will happen because he is a consistent rider, that he won't tense up and he'll fix some things. And I do think he said he got a little bit of arm pump as well. It's hard to remember who said what because so many people say everything. So besides Cooper getting the whole shot, we had Hunter in second, Jett in third, Plessinger out there in fourth, Robin there in fifth, and in sixth, Ferrandis, seventh, Anderson, Roczen, Barsha, Sexton down there in 12th. So a lot of these guys did not get a good start that are usually up there in the front. They had to put in some work. Who else was out there? We had Cooper Webb all the way down in 15th, and out there at the bottom, we had Eli Tomac in 17th place. He had to put in some serious work. I think everybody was upset about that. We did have Aaron Plessinger go down in the race and got really tangled up there with, I want to say it was Dylan Ferrandis, but I can't remember. We'll play a clip. So the fact that all these top guys were kind of buried in the pack and by the end of the race got in the top 10, I think, is very impressive. You know, we had Roczen up there, ended up making the podium. We had Chase right behind him. And they did not, I think the wreck with Aaron Plessinger kind of helped. And then before we knew it, we had Jason Anderson leading the pack again. So we had Jason Anderson flying through the whoop section on the right-hand side of the Lawrence brothers, passing both of them, remains there at the top for most of the race. At this point in time, we have Ken Roczen trying to go up the field. He ends up making a mistake. He said that he hit neutral, which I thought that was the only me thing. So it makes me feel really good that the best of the best are hitting neutral. Like, who hits neutral all the time and you're just like ready to go, you got all the momentum, and you hit neutral and you're just like, whoa. I hate that. I usually end up doing it on a turn of some sort. So, but yeah, that could have been bad. So he ended up hitting neutral, not being able to get that spot past Hunter, but he eventually works his way past him. Yeah, so that's about when AP and Dylan Ferrandis' bike got tangled up. Dylan Ferrandis just took his bike off and said, see you later. So that was quite a debacle to untangle those bikes. I think Aaron ended up going into the pits after that to get everything looked at, then went back out there. So now we're at 13 minutes and 45 seconds, and Jason Anderson gets past Cooper and leads the race there for some time. Justin Cooper holds Jett Lawrence off there for a little bit, but not long enough. Jett ends up getting past him and starts working on Jason. I know there's all these clips all over the internet, but I do think there is a mutual respect. I don't think there's any really animosity out there like everyone's kind of trying to hype up this drama. I don't really think it's there. I think Anderson's in a point where he is just happy with his accomplishments, happy where he's going, and still believes that he can ride and race and get podiums and is just enjoying his life. I don't think he cares, to be honest. And Jett is just trying to win races. And I just think there's a respect for each other out there on the track because, you know, at the end of the day, if these riders weren't good at what they did, there would be some serious injuries and there would be bikes landing on each other. So I think there's just respect in that matter. And they just want to have good, fun, competitive racing. And that's what we're getting this season. And I freaking love Love it. To backtrack a little bit, there at the 16-minute and 50-second marker, we had Eli Tomac now in 13th position after 17th because of that start. So he's been putting work on the track as well. And then when we get to 11 minutes and 21 seconds, now Tomac is in 10th. Chase Sexton just could not get it done when it came to passing Ken Roczen. He did have another tire dip there, and from what I heard from the announcers, he rides with his rear tire extremely low, which allows the front tire not to push through as it could if he rode in a higher position. So I guess that's something he's just never going to be able to avoid. I don't know, if I was him, I think I'd kind of maybe try to change it up. But if you've been riding like that for so long, it's like, can you get to a point where that's how you're comfortable. They were saying because of that, with his rear tire being low and it being wet, that he would have more traction on the track. So that's possibly why he was able to catch up, but so was Ken Roczen. So I don't know. That's really a story we'll just have to keep following and just hope that his team and him, he could figure something out to allow that front tire to push forward more. I don't know. Maybe change something. I would, because it just seems like it's not working. Of course, he didn't get a good start off the jump as well. And with the deepness of this class, you have to get a good start. But from this race that we've seen, a lot of the guys did not get a good start and ended up pushing their way forward. Jason Anderson being one of them and leading the pack there for a minute in that first position. So we have 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, and Jett finally gets that pass through Jason on the whoops. Got a little crazy and sideways there for a second, was able to hold on, straighten it out, and was able to hit that second strand of whoops. Now we got Tomac now in 8th position, getting around Cooper Webb. Also to know, apparently Chase Sexton is now sick as well. Then we had Ken creep up and was able to pass Jason Anderson, getting that second spot, securing that red number plate, which I think if he would have been third, he still would have had the red plate. But second is just even better. And by the end of it all, we had Tomac up there in 7th position, which is amazing. Not only did he get top 10, he got 7th. He will be a force to be reckoned with, especially going into a Triple Crown, which we know he is known for Triple Crowns. So by the end of it, we had Jett with the win. We had Ken Roczen there in 2nd, Jason Anderson holding on to the podium position for 3rd. In 4th place, we had Chase Sexton, Hunter there in 5th. Justin Cooper getting knocked down in 6th position after leading the race for some time. Eli Tomac, like I said, now in 7th. We had Cooper Webb behind Eli. Malcolm in 9th, and Justin Barcia making that top 10. That crash between Aaron and Dylan Ferrandis put them both down at the bottom, putting Dylan in 14th and Aaron all the way at the very bottom in 20th, costing him to get out of the race. I don't think his bike was able to finish. So at the end of the race, the cameras follow the winner, and I overheard Jett speaking to somebody on the Honda team that the bike was not running good. At the end, he said it was very something. I couldn't really make out what he said exactly. We'll have to watch some post-race interviews to see if we can find an answer to that. But so hopefully that doesn't affect him in the races to come. I don't know if it had something to do with the rain, which is very possible. Maybe could have started overheating. There's no telling. So hopefully we'll have a dry race. I think we will out there in Arizona, and we will get ready for the Triple Crown. And we will watch that red plate looking great on the Suzuki on Mr. Ken Roczen's bike. That is kind of a bummer that his family wasn't able to be there for that race. But hey, that's family life, and they are out there getting it done. So we will see you guys round 4, Glendale, Arizona, for the first Triple Crown of the season. It should be a fun race to watch. We'll see you there. We'll also post up a video of our predictions. Well, when I say my predictions and what I'm thinking, I'm going to go ahead and say I think Eli Tomac is now, it's time for a little redemption after that start. And he does do well at Triple Crowns. So we will see what is in the cards for that race. See you guys at the next round.